Hello everybody, this is the Starving Martian, and today I was supposed to bring you a look at a new Men in Black figure, but my jerk of a neighbor downstairs stole my Amazon package right off my front porch. So, instead I went digging around in my attic and came up with this little treasure trove for you. This is Data from Star Trek The Next Generation, dressed as Sherlock Holmes as seen in the episode Elementary, My Dear Data. Alright, now if you're unfamiliar with the show, Star Trek The Next Generation was obviously a follow-up to the classic Star Trek show from the 1960s. Next Gen, of course, played throughout the 90s. It was my introduction to Star Trek back in the day, and still remains my favorite series, and Data remains one of my favorite characters. So, add that to the fact that I have actually been a long time Sherlock Holmes fan. I have several copies of the original novels. I have many books that are written afterwards, starring Holmes, written by many different writers, and it's just a character that I've always enjoyed. And so when I found that there was actually a figure combining the two, yeah, that was on my must-have list. So, this was from the a line of not really action figures so much as dolls, really, that Star Trek: The Next Generation came out with. They had all sorts of merchandise back in the day. They were the big thing, and so they had this one. There was also a companion piece, Geordie LaForge as Watson, which I never picked up, and I regret that. I really should look into that because those two would look great together. But if you didn't know better, if you didn't know this was a Star Trek toy, you might just think it was just a Sherlock Holmes that, for whatever reason, is unusually pale. But this is actually Data, and they did a pretty good job on him. I do like his face, which we're going to get a close-up shot at in a moment. He's dressed in the classic Sherlock Holmes coat and hat, which Holmes himself very, very seldom actually wears in the original stories. You would think someone like Data would know that, but be that as it may, if he wasn't dressed like this, y'all wouldn't know it was supposed to be Sherlock Holmes. Um, so the clothing is theoretically removable. I mean, I've never actually tried. I have no desire to see a naked Data, but it is stitched together over here on the front of the jacket, and I just imagine taking all the clothing off and putting it on someone else or whatnot would be more hassle than it's actually worth. The hat, of course, is completely removable, and he's looking a little more like Data now. So here's the hat, and you can't tell which side's the front and which side's the back. But that's the Deerstalker cap for you. That's how it rolls. Alright, so here, getting a little closer on Data's face. I believe the actor's name was Brett or Brent Spiner, something along them lines. He was also the long-haired, crazy scientist guy in Independence Day. So I think they did a good job sculpting his face. Turn him around, get him from profile. You always see Sherlock Holmes from profile angles. So yeah, he kind of has that nose going for him. The details on his clothing. Alright, now as far as posability on this guy goes, it's pretty decent for a figure from his time. His head can move, look side to side. His arms are on the joints. He could bring them out. He could bring them up and down. He has elbow joints. So his legs come out. They're a little bit hindered by his clothes, but they have a good hinge in there. They swing out to the side. They can come out. He's got a knee joint in both legs. And again, the cloak does hinder how far you could push that. There. So let's get his hat back on. Now he came with accessories, two of which I own and two of which I have lost somehow throughout the years. The one accessory he came with was a rather large Star Trek The Next Generation logo with a peg on it that you could have him stand on as a figure stand. Um, don't know where that took off to, but as you could tell, he stands perfectly fine on his own. The other one I can't find, sadly, is his magnifying glass. He came with a tiny magnifying glass. It was the best piece to display him holding. It's the one he holds best and the one that's most iconic to the character. No idea where that is, but you guys have seen magnifying glasses. You can imagine what that would look like. The other accessories he came with include this little pipe here, which again you can never get away with today, having a character selling a toy to kids that comes with a pipe. He sort of kind of holds the pipe. He can never get it up to his mouth in any way, shape, or form, but he can hold it if you want him to. And he also came with his violin, which is a nice addition. Sherlock Holmes fans will know that Holmes was quite the violinist, and so I mean he could hold this as well, but not in any way that indicates he's ever going to actually play it. Which is why the magnifying glass was a better accessory for him. I'll have to keep my eyes out for that, but if only I had a detective or somebody to put on the case. I don't know. So, if you are a Star Trek Next Generation fan, and you happen to like Data, this is a very nice figure. I have no idea what he's currently going for. I got this guy like 10 years ago, off of, I believe, Amazon. So if you like Star Trek, he is perfect for you. If you are a Sherlock Holmes fan and you just want a good figure to put on your bookshelf, this guy's recommended for that as well. And there's really not a whole lot more to say. So this has been the Starving Martian. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch up with you later. Keep watching the skies.